Haste and Slow are very popular spells in D&D and Pathfinder, but do you know how they really work in Pathfinder 2nd edition? It might surprise you. What's up everybody, it's Rob from Sage Tower Games, and today I'm making a video talking about two spells that are very popular spells, or effects even, that normally have a very common effect, but have been tweaked slightly in 2nd edition. And I feel like some people may not actually know how these spells work or interact with one another, especially because they kind of bury the rulings in some place in the book, and so they may not jump out right away. And the two spells I'm talking about are Haste and Slow. So Haste, as we all know, increases a user's speed, usually gives them an extra action or AC bonus of movement. In Pathfinder 2nd edition, it gives you a quickened action, which basically means you get one extra action that you can use to either strike or stride. Now on the flip side of this, you have Slow, which pretty much gives you the slowed condition, which when you begin your turn, you lose a number of actions equal to whatever your slowed status is. So if you're slowed 1, you lose 1 action. If you're slowed 2, you lose 2 actions. Now the reason for this video is in 1st edition, I believe even in old 3.5 D&D, these spells had the sentence haste counteracts slow and slow counteracts haste. Meaning if you were hasted and someone casts slow on you, it nullifies it, vice versa. Kind of like an old school RPG game, like the Final Fantasy series games, when you could use it to slow down or kind of nullify the effect. And you may think, because it's been engraved in your mind for so long, that that's how these spells actually work with one another. Say you have that quickened status, then you get hit with slowed, it just kind of washes out kind of deal. And the way it works is actually different. And it's actually kind of like a conflicting conditions in a way. So what happens is the best way to really describe it is with this example. Say you begin your turn with slowed 1. So you lose an action every turn. Then you get hasted, so then you have quickened now. Now here's the point. You are technically still slowed. So you are slowed and quickened at the same time. So keep that in mind when you're kind of counting how many rounds left you have of your statuses, especially if haste runs out before or after the slowed runs out. Now this is how it works, and it kind of says it in the book, where when you have conditions like this, the player gets to choose how it resolves. So what it means by this is, because you're hasted, you have an extra action. So you have your 3 normal actions, and then you have your quicken action. But because you're slowed, you lose 1 action. Now because of the conflicting conditions, you actually get to choose what action you lose. Now normally this doesn't matter, you just lose an action. However, the difference here is the quicken action can only be used for a strike and a stride, while the rest can be done for anything else. Why does this matter? You can choose to lose the quicken action and still have your full turn and not lose any of your actual actions. So if you were trying to cast a 3 action spell, or if you were, doing a 2 action ability and then you wanted to do a 1 action ability, anything along those lines, because it's not a strike or stride, you will need your actual actions to do them. And this is might be a bit confusing at first, because in a way it does kind of cancel, but you still have the slowed effect. So you're still losing an action every turn, but you can choose to make it that quick in action so you still get your normal turn. It's a bit of a weird dynamic with the spells, and normally you just kind of, it's a fleeting thought, but there may be cases in your guys' games where you might have someone who wants to do two different things on their turn, but because they're slowed and hasted, they may think that they can't do it, or they may try to get away with it, you know. So keep that in mind. This is actually a very strange interaction between the spells, because you could technically as well be hasted first, then slowed, and then the haste will run out before the slow, so that then you'll be slowed after that, and then that's when you start to only have two actions once that happens. So it's an interesting way for these spells to work, and I think that's a lot of what I'm trying to do in this video, and we'll be doing in a few other videos throughout the weeks, of looking at some spells and looking at how they work, how they interact, little nuances in the Pathfinder 2e spells that you may not think of right away. This kind of interaction, in your mind, you just think, okay, it counters that effect, but it actually does something different. And there's a number of these weird type of effects that may happen throughout the spell list, as well as just spells that warrant having a good discussion on. So with that, let me know what you guys think about Haste and Slow. If you guys knew about this, or if you guys didn't know about this, let me know in the comments. As well as other spells that you may want to discuss or talk about in detail. I can do a little bit of a deep dive for you guys, kind of look at interactions, thoughts from a GM perspective in terms of, you know, how to use them against your players, kind of in a way that doesn't make it too unfair. So let me know, and be sure to always like this video, comment, and subscribe for more Pathfinder content. It means a lot to me, so thank you guys. And thank you guys for watching this quick little spell discussion video. Thank you.